Before we begin this episode, I have personally a couple things I want to say. First, I wanted to say this last time, but because of technical issues, I forgot. I was more preoccupied with those issues. Second, so 2 episodes ago, I mentioned South Dakota, and I didn't talk bad about them, but I said like I don't know anything. I don't know anything about South Dakota. I don't know anyone in South Dakota, so I used them as like a scapegoat. I want to apologize to everyone in South Dakota because recently, Pete, shut up. Recently, there was like a biker rally. There was like just some like festival in South Dakota, and a bunch of like morons like wanted to like riot and like disrupt the festival or the occasion, and all the bikers in South Dakota they just ran them out of town. And I was just like, dude, these guys are legit. Like, they're not taking anything from these losers. You know, like, a bunch of, like, soy boy and soy girls are like, let's ruin this. And they're like, bro, come at me, bro. So, just from that alone, I want to apologize for throwing them under the bus, you know. That alone put them on the cool radar for me. They're pretty cool.
So they've gained your respect now because they can
they can hold their own. They're not cowards, you know. Someone messes with them, they're gonna be like, dude, come at me, bro. You want to throw down? Let's go. You know, they're legit. You know, they're real. You know, like these guys.
Such a clown.
I mean, it's true. Like some morons were like, let's throw a riot here, and they're like, not in this town. You're not throwing no riot in this town. So.
Jesus.
So yeah, I want to apologize for throwing them under the bus and using them as the scapegoat. Next time I need to refer to some state or some place I don't know about, I'll use North Dakota just to
I was gonna say that.
just to be fair. Third, also 2 episodes ago, I mentioned Florida. I made a joke about Florida. I'm sorry for everyone who lives in Florida but in all fairness, you all know what I'm talking about. So I personally don't I don't hate a single person in Florida personally, but everything about Florida I've always had bad experiences in Florida except for like one. And the reason is because when I was younger, you know, national tournaments usually are held in the South because of the weather. You know, in Florida it's always hot. So I went to a lot of tournaments down in Florida, and I just have a lot of bad experiences in Florida. This combined with the weather is always hot and humid, which is my least favorite weather condition ever. Like it's always humid. It is not like it's never a nice warm day outside. It's always a humid weather there, and I feel sticky. I feel disgusting. It's always raining every 5 minutes, and then the sun comes out. And it's just like, I don't know. It probably doesn't help that the last time I went to Florida, someone like smashed a window in our rent-a-car. So, you know, that probably didn't help on top of the weather. We didn't even have money in the car. Like, I took all of my belongings out of the car. Someone just smashed the window for no reason in the middle of the night. So, you know, that was fun.
So basically, the moral of the story is Alex's moral compass.
Not moral compass. Shut up, Pete. It's not a moral compass.
Apologize for all these people he's offended. But
I didn't offend anyone.
He's complaining anyway. So
I didn't offend anyone. I just said Florida. It sucks to live in Florida.
Okay, well, my thoughts on Florida. Just stay where you are.
No. Like
stay far away.
They don't need to move to Florida or from Florida, but like the thing is, most people in Florida, they know. They're like, yeah, the traffic sucks, everything sucks, the weather sucks. Like, you talk to someone from Florida and they're like, yeah, that's just how it is, you know. So I'm not even wrong. They're just used to it. I'm not used to it. So yeah, that was everything I had to say. So sorry to South Dakota. You guys you're pretty amazing and pretty cool, and you've earned my respect. And for the people in Florida, no disrespect to you, but you live in a place that I am not fond of. Thank you. With that out of the way, 5 minutes into the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between, welcome to the Stay Positive Podcast. I'm Alex
I am Pete, and this is episode something.
of the Stay
episode?
Positive Podcast.
15?
I think
16?
15. I think
25?
15.
Yeah, 15.
We surpassed that other guy. You know,
What guy?
the other
Oh,
Stay
yeah,
Positive
so-
Podcast.
For the people that are here, we are not the only quote-unquote Stay Positive podcast, but we are the more dedicated one.
Don't say that. He moved on to on Apple Podcasts. There's another podcast made with the title Stay Positive Podcast. It aired from last year from September to December, so it aired for 4 months and it had 12 episodes. We surpassed that. We are the definitive Stay Positive Podcast. That Stay Positive Podcast was more comedic. It was more of a not stand up, but it was more of a comedian bringing on guests and having, I don't know, talking about fun stuff. So if you're feeling generous, give him a listen. I believe his name is Jason Nagu. How do you pronounce that Vietnamese name when it's Nguyen? Whatever.
Nguyen?
Nguyen.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't speak Vietnamese. I listened to one of the episodes. They're nice. They're fine. They're more comedy based, whereas we're more just talking based. So if you're into that stuff, give it a listen. Shout out to the first Stay Positive Podcast. So Pete,
And then shout out
to us also. Please stay with us
I'm playing.
forever.
Relax.
You
saying?
have a topic, Pete?
Don't worry about
No, I have a topic.
it.
So
Hit me.
So in the last few days, I don't know, I had an epiphany, or not an epiphany. I just had an idea, a thought. No,
Jesus.
Pete, calm
Now
down,
we're
calm
gonna
down.
Now we're
I
gonna
didn't
get
have
it.
an epiphany. I just had a hypothetical idea. If you were stranded on an island, and there was someone else with you, do you think would you get along with that person? Honestly, honest to God, do you think you would get along, or would you And the thing is, me and you, if we were stranded on an island, I think we would get our stuff together. We would be okay, we're kind of stuck here. We're left for dead. We're gonna die soon if we don't do something. So we're probably gonna look for water, look for a food source. We'll probably find some shelter. We'll be on the same page, right? But what if you were dealing with some hysterical person, someone who's losing their mind already? Would you what would you do? Or
So if I were on an island stuck with a person slowly collapsing,
not even slowly
into
collapsing, just
insanity-
they're not
so the collapse isn't slow.
no,
Okay.
they're just they're
That makes a big
whining, they're
difference.
complaining, they're I need food. It's dude, we're kind of dying now. Can you calm down for a second? Someone who not necessarily lost their mind, but they're just they don't really appreciate the severity of the situation. They're just kind of they're just kind of whining and complaining. How would you deal with that person? I don't even know what I'd do.
Can I just ask before I answer where the hell you got this? Not epiphany, but
It's not an
where
epiphany.
this
That was the
thought
wrong
came to
word.
you
That was
from?
the wrong word. It was an idea.
Why did this come to you on a random Tuesday?
No. So there was this anime that released this year. I don't think it released recently, and it's about four high school girls getting stranded on an island, and one of them is actually a survivalist, and the other three are just generic high school girls. And I'm just it's average at best, the anime, but the point is, these girls don't really understand the magnitude. The survivalist is hunting bugs and stuff so they can have food to eat, and they're ew, this is disgusting. I'm do you realize the situation you're in? You get it? It's you're basically gonna die if you don't survive, and they're just complaining that oh, this is gross, oh, I'm hot, oh, woe is me. And I'm just you realize you're gonna die soon. So I was just like, what if that
Hmm.
happened to me? What if I was stranded on an island and I was stranded with some idiot who was like not really grasping the situation? Like, ew, this water is dirty. I'm like, okay, okay, so what?
I could tell you the super super drastic thing to
Kill him?
do. Cannibalize him.
No, no, I don't. I'd rather die
No,
than be a
that's awful.
cannibal
That's awful. Um,
because
yeah,
like,
but I don't know what you would do in that situation because I've never been in that situation. So how could I possibly give you any semblance of a good opinion?
what if how about this? What if you were stuck on planet Earth alone with only one other person and you hate that person? Like, what would you
Well,
do?
on the bright side, there's plenty of Earth to distance myself from that
But
person.
like,
If I don't like a person, there's not a chance in hell I'm gonna be around them
what if
at
you're
all.
stuck in the same room as them? What if it's a
Well, okay, but we're the last people on Earth, but yet we can't figure out how to get out of this room.
no,
Can you
no, no,
just see the flaw in your
change
scenario
the
right now?
scenario. So you're stuck in a room with someone and you hate that someone, and there's no like, you can't see any exits or anything. You're stranded in, not stranded. You're trapped in a room, and the only source of company is someone you genuinely hate. Would you like?
Well, personally, I don't really hate people,
He'll
you know.
he'll make you
Even,
hate him. Like, you'll spend 5 minutes talking to him, and you'll be like, okay, this guy's like lost his mind.
I don't know how to hate people. You know, I mean, people will literally be awful to me, and I'll just be like, okay, because I don't dwell on that stuff. You know, to me, it's just a waste of emotional energy and just my thoughts. I feel like I can be way more efficient with my life if I can just focus on things that
No,
actually
no, no. I
matter.
get that. I
And
get
so
that.
if I
But this is like an extreme situation where you're like you're stuck in a room with this person. Like, there is no running away. This person is with you until one of you die. And do you like work together? Do you like say, "Hey, man, let's try and get
hmm
out of here. Let's try and think of something," Or would you like
Yeah, I would absolutely try to figure out how to get out of
what
there.
it?
Because in the end, even if I quote unquote hate this person, I'm gonna still play to their need and want to get out of the room as well. So I will be unselfish for selfish reasons,
Okay. No,
if it makes
all
sense.
right.
I mean, think about it. We're both. It's both in our. It is in both of our interests to get out of this room. So if I don't like this person, then I'll just literally look at it as okay. The only way I'm gonna get out of this room is if I just figure out a way to um, leave all my BS behind and stop thinking about why I hate this person so much, and we can just work towards a common goal regardless.
Okay.
And once that is done, then I'm rid of that person forever and don't have to think about him again.
All
And
right. Fair enough.
I feel like a lot of people do that in regular life also,
I
no matter
feel
what.
like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Is the majority of people like sane or crazy? I don't know.
Oh, that's
Like
interesting.
in time of crisis, not like in general. In general, bless you. In general, people don't really have an
Cough.
excuse to be crazy. But like if you were like stuck in like in the middle of the desert or on a tropical island in the middle of nowhere, now the circumstances have changed, and would they be crazy? Would they like lose it, or would they would they keep their civility?
On a tropical
Not
paradise?
paradise,
Hmm.
Pete. You're stranded on an island, Pete. There's no resort on the other side. You're just stuck in like a jungle forest.
No, I mean, we just have to figure out how to get off the island. So same thing. No matter how much I hate this person, I'm gonna still figure out how we can both survive and get off
Would
the island.
you, if for would you really try to get off of the island, or would you try to just survive as long as you can, wait for like a boat or something, like to see something?
No, I would try
But
to get
like,
off
where
because
would you
if you
go?
spend all your time, well, I don't
You're gonna
know. We live on a planet that has land mass practically covering it from north to south in every direction. So no matter which way I'll go, I'll probably end up hitting something eventually. If I'm traveling in one direction, east for instance, I will end up hitting land most likely.
Yeah, but like, what if you're on a Japanese island and east is America? So That's kind of a long journey, Pete, to take on your little.
I'm gonna bring a lot of berries and a lot of plants with me and just try to ration as much as
All
possible.
right, Pete. Good luck with that.
No, really, that's how I would do it. Because look, if you expect to be saved, in my opinion, then you've already given up.
No, you're surviving as long as you can. You're still surviving. You like giving up is just finding the highest mountain and, you know, doing something. I saw the film. I saw the
No.
film with Tom Hanks.
Was it Castaway?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never watched that movie, but I personally wouldn't wait around for someone. I would literally just take it into my own hands and go out there, and I'd rather die at sea looking to save myself rather than die on the island waiting for someone to save me
All right.
and surviving and all that. Because then, at least doing the former, I'd have, like I said, taken it into my own hands, put my own destiny in my own hands. And that's more fulfilling to me.
More fulfilling.
So you can take your high mountains and stranded islands and hateful people and just shove them.
All right, Pete. So, in a time of crisis, you'll just try and make it.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm still curious why you thought of this.
No, because like if I was like in a like crisis situation, I wouldn't be like picky. You know, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm eating a bug now. It's like, well, it's either this or I die of starvation. It's like it's either like maybe muddy water or dying. Which would you pick? And obviously, I would like pick the one that I have a chance at survival. You know, so it's just like I'm curious if like in real life are people like so petty in like a crisis, like they're like or not petty, spoiled, like once you're put in a situation that requires like desperate measures, would they accept it or would they just be like, ew, no, that's gross, you know? I don't.
People will do anything to survive, bro. People will literally do anything to survive.
I guess
It's in our genetic code, man. I mean, otherwise
it
we
was.
wouldn't have been this far along. I mean,
because like
no,
that's the
it
thing, right?
still
Like
is.
humans,
It's just not like it used to be.
yeah, we're not like the hunters. We're not like hunter cavemen, you know, who like have to go out and like wrestle a giant dinosaur for food. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, we go to our local grocery store and just, you know, buy some food. We're
Or
not.
your local Life Alive and buy some vegan milkshakes and smoothies.
Dude, can you imagine a vegan during the apocalypse?
No,
I
I really can't.
I can't
I
either.
I want. I heard some crazy thing that people actually used to be vegan
That's
originally
just not
before
real. What is
fire. Before fire.
vegan, which means not only do you not eat meat, but you don't eat milk or eggs or anything of that nature either.
Okay. Maybe vegetarian.
Vegetarian makes a little more sense, but even still.
Well, also, let's think, people, if there was no fire, what are you going to do with those eggs, man?
You eat it raw.
You eat raw eggs.
Well, not me, but like if you're a caveman, do you know any better?
I would hope so. When, like, Fred goes and dies from salmonella poisoning, then, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that great, and I'd assume they'd pass that info along to not do it again.
Yeah, but like you're treating this like they have a doctor. It's like, hey doctor, this guy ate a raw egg. What's wrong with him? It's like, no, they're just like a bunch of monkeys with big sticks, Pete. They're not thinking, you know. And the thing is, you know, like I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure like cavemen, their like digestive system is probably like more equipped to handle raw foods, like, you know, like real wild animals. You know, whereas now over time our body just acclimated to, you know, eating not processed but like cooked food, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, well, I wonder about surviving in times like those as well. Like it must have been hard. I mean, well, it's common
Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
but
it's kind of hard, Pete.
survival back then was a little interesting. You know, you have to run away from saber-toothed tigers and stuff like that.
No, it's the circle of life. You know, you have this like the grass, and then you have the herbivores, and then you have the predators, then you have us.
What was the? Would you happen to know what was the
The
biggest danger, the big like in terms of animal life to human
humans,
beings?
probably like tigers and wolves, but like ancient tigers and ancient wolves, because like
Ancient tigers and ancient
yeah,
wolves.
like saber-tooth tigers are extinct, you know, but they're real or were real. Like
Um,
because I made a joke about the dinosaurs. I don't think cavemen lived during the time of the dinosaurs, so I assume it was probably either bears, tigers, and wolves, or
right.
their equivalents.
Yeah.
And
I mean, mammoths seem pretty legit.
I mean, that's only
No,
because they hunted them.
mammoths were legit, bro.
Yeah, but they hunted
Mammoths would
them.
mess you up.
Yeah, but they hunted them. Like it's not like the mammoth came after them first. It's they came after it, and it fought back. You know, whereas a lion or a tiger will, if it's hungry and it sees you, you better get running. He-
But also, yeah, I mean, it's also a fact that people back then, cavemen, or the human beings, prehistoric human beings, whatever you want to call them, they they had their teeth were developed to eat plants more anyway. You know, like we developed like our canines.
Yeah.
You know these. Um, Over time, they got sharper so that we can cut into meat when we're chewing. But they used to be more
Like monkeys.
flat, like our molars.
Hmm.
Well, no, I mean chimps have the same,
Teeth.
I guess, teeth as us almost, very close.
Okay.
So I don't think it's we're like them. It's like we're all related in some way, but over time, different adaptations have allowed us to build skyscrapers and do things that other species can't do. Like I don't expect a flea to make it on the moon anytime soon, unless it hitches a ride on Elon's. Damn it!
You broke the sacred rule, Pete.
Damn it! I messed up. I didn't mean to do that. It was subconsciously there.
It's okay.
Back to prehistoric times. Those movies, the Ice Age. You remember those kid movies, the Ice Age?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you think those things were ever, I guess,
Real?
in any no genius. I mean, do you think they were in any way, obviously they're cartoons, but in any way accurately depicting what society or not society, what life was like during times like those?
Probably. At least relative. Like Eskimos, they lived in igloos and they hunted. You know, they would hunt mammoths and they would hunt saber-tooths. So, yeah, relatively, that's. I don't think a mammoth brought a baby to a village. You know, I don't think that happened too often.
You don't think talking
I don't think
sloths?
talking sloths.
What was Sid?
Yeah.
Sid the sloth,
Sid
right?
the sloth.
I don't know if this talking sloths
Diego
exist,
the saber-tooth, and Manny the mammoth.
yeah. You know what's something I saw actually? I read a article about it and watched a video on it as well. There's a cave in France somewhere.
With
I
drawings.
forget exactly.
Ancient drawings.
Yes, and they found these drawings as one of the first kind of cave sites ever. And then soon after, they started letting so many people visit that tourism and everything. And after that, they decided, wow, this is actually an extremely important part of our history. We cannot screw this up. And so they stopped letting people actually go inside that cave and observe all the drawings from, prehistoric times and stuff.
I mean, what
And
did
then they
draw,
they
though?
erected a whole new cave that was a completely different, or no, not completely different. It was a complete replica, but it was fake. You know, so
Okay.
that's a little weird. That's weird to me. It's how can you appreciate something in all of its beauty when it's not actually the real thing? When it underlying all of that stuff, it's fake. But then on the same token, how can you go into a cave that is so fragile and so important? There's a fine line between that. I don't know. I can't answer that for you.
I think that was probably I don't know how delicate the cave is, but if it is delicate, then I think what they did was the right thing. But like, what did they draw? They probably just draw pictures of the animals and themselves, and
Yeah, it was
like stick figures, probably.
no, it was pictures just depicting, I suppose. Actually, no, 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 no. It was really, really peculiar. I think I watched this video because I was like, this is an interesting clickbaity title. They drew pictures of their hands, bro. You know, like how when you're in kindergarten, you trace your hand
Yeah.
and
No,
for
no.
for Thanksgiving to make a turkey
Yeah.
on paper or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, they would do the same thing. They literally traced their hands onto the wall.
I mean,
But why? I have
you don't
no
know.
clue.
Maybe there was like some ceremony, or maybe they were just, I don't know, decorating the wall for, like, maybe like declaring this is like their cave. Maybe they just did it because why not? Maybe they discovered, maybe it was at that moment they like discovered the ability to like draw like with a certain material, and they were like, oh, let's just go wild. Let's draw our hands. Who knows? We don't know. Maybe they had a reason for it. Maybe they were just like monkeys playing with fire, monkeys playing with chalk. Who knows?
Monkeys playing with
You
chalk.
don't know.
How did they get their hands on chalk, man?
The same way Sid did. He just picked up like a rock and was like, "Whoa, I can draw with this rock. Let's draw some stuff." You know, it,
Oh
it's
snap!
you believe in entropy. Like there's all randomness means everything is like there's a 1 in a trillion chance of happening, but like it can happen. Billions of years led to a caveman picking up some chalk or some clay and was like, "Whoa, I can draw this." What if he didn't pick it up? What if the caveman didn't discover fire? You know, then we'd be living in monkey world, ape world, or not
No,
what
we just
Planet
still
of the
be
Apes.
eating.
Planet
We
of the
just still be
Apes.
eating plants. I think. I don't think. Well, okay, yeah, fire was huge. What do you think was bigger? Fire or the printing press?
Fire.
Really?
You can live without reading a newspaper, but you can't live without fire.
Yeah, but the printing press,
It's impressive, but which was more important to humanity? It's fire.
I don't know, I'm at a crossroads on this one because
Yeah,
look,
on the
look,
one
obviously
hand,
fire protects us and everything, but you could also have just lived near the equator, in those times and you would be totally fine. You wouldn't need fire to keep you warm in the winter. You wouldn't need it to warm your food up because you could live off plants. Like I said, human beings were vegetarians. I
do
mean,
you
my
know that, or
argument for the printing press.
you're just saying
Well,
that?
I'm making assumptions, right?
So you don't know that.
No, of course not. Was I living 30 to 50,000 years ago?
Thousand, Pete. It's probably millions.
Well, yeah. No, well, the first human being kind of came up around 2 million or 6 million years ago.
All right.
Is one of those numbers, but I mean, big difference, but still. Um, we didn't really have, I guess, more civilized structures of human beings until maybe 100 to 200K years ago.
Assuming we don't kill each other within the next 100 years, what do you think humanity will be like in a million years? After how much we've evolved from the first million?
We definitely won't be what we are right now. I think we'll be some kind of mix of machine and human.
But that's not a biological evolution. That's just putting a machine in your body.
Well, right, but in the end, you asked me what do I think we'll be, and I told you. I don't
Will we
really.
all be machines, or
No, personally, I think that we're gonna have a symbiotic relationship with machines, if we want to survive, in any way, shape, or form.
what does it mean? We're already surviving.
I know, but what happens when that technological singularity hits?
What does that mean?
So that's when. Are you familiar with a singularity for a black hole?
It's where all the gravitational forces in one point.
Yes, exactly. So
But what is a technological singularity?
it's that point where the all the boom like why can't I speak English? It's that point where everything just starts to increase exponentially. And so I would think of it almost as you know how you're past the event horizon of a black hole and then from there's no return, right?
I
And
guess.
the only way to go to is the singularity.
I guess so.
So that's once we pass this technological quote unquote event horizon, things will start just increasing exponentially. And eventually we will be unable to tame that. So we're going to have to figure out some way to just hop on for the ride because we won't be able to control it.
What do you mean? We're the ones making it.
Yeah, but
Technology is not exactly like a living thing. We are the masters of technology.
I disagree.
You think technology masters us?
Um, yeah, because to a certain extent, we can't control technology anyway, because we don't control the laws by which it operates by.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Literally the ones that invented it.
No, it existed before us. We just figured out how it works, and so we manipulate those things and allow it to do our bidding and perform at our whims.
That still means we made it first. We took something that
No,
existed
no,
and
no, no,
made
no,
it
no, no, no.
better.
It means it's basically like um we're just creating boundaries and ah we are enclosing these boundaries around by which these rules exist. So we're not necessarily controlling it. We're just kind of um, putting it inside a little box and saying, okay, I'm going to just try to operate on it within this little box. But in reality, it still exists all the way outside of it in any way, shape, or form. And I can't do anything about that other than observe and, accept that it exists like that.
But we're not just observing and accepting, we are also manipulating and advancing.
Yeah, but you're saying that we're controlling, and I'm saying that no, we are just leveraging.
Alright, Pete, you're with your technicalities.
Well, it's totally different, man. For instance, you can't tell me that we travel at the speed of light in any way, shape, or form. We can't, right?
Not yet.
But we can use flashlights to illuminate a dark room.
Okay.
That is literally a perfect example.
But you're comparing
If we could
speed with
control.
illumination.
Okay, no, 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 no. I'm comparing the way things work with the way we can use the way things work for us.
I mean, theoretically, if we could convert all of our particles into light beams and then reconvert them back, then technically, then we would be able to travel at the speed of light. We would be like in the fantasy in Star Trek where they're beaming them up. If that's possible, which I don't know because I'm not a scientist.
I don't think so, man.
You don't know
I'm
that,
not a.
Pete. You don't know what'll happen in a million years.
No, I don't. All I know is that if we're gonna need to get to that point, then, or if we're gonna get to that point, we're gonna have to make some big, big changes, and it'll happen no matter what, unless a giant space rock comes and just flattens us completely.
I heard that that's not likely. That
Yeah, it's extremely unlikely.
just the way the planets, the way all the gravitational forces and the magnetic fields is that big rocks can't. It's almost impossible for a big rock to ever hit us.
No, that's not really the reason. It's just by virtue of all this two things. One thing is all the space debris that we have blocking something like that from happening. So let's say a rock the size of Long Island could level our planet, you know? But there's so much stuff in the way of a rock the size of Long Island to get to us that even the slightest little bit of force could knock it off. And I mean, you know how it works. If you push something 1 degree to the left, for instance, over millions
Miles.
and millions of miles, it will eventually just completely miss our planet. That type of thing. So that's one thing. The other thing is there is so much space out there, like more than people can even comprehend, more than I can comprehend. I mean, when you look at our planet, bro, we're just tiny. And the thing is, it's actually really humbling to think about this, but we live on such a, from our vantage point, huge planet, and so many people, cultures, beautiful places, and things to enjoy and experience. But in the grand scheme of everything, we're just on a floating rock, literally we're on a floating spaceship basically, like in the middle of nothingness, and we have a lot of problems on this planet, but yet they are literally meaningless compared to other bigger existential problems like a giant space rock
Well,
hitting
Pete, this is my rock, and I like my rock. It's the only one I have.
Yeah, so
So it's the one that I cherish the most.
yeah, so other asteroids and just low probability
If you
because
fire
of the
if
way
you
it
fire a
works.
nuke or something at an asteroid, can it shatter it? So
Of course.
then, if you shattered an asteroid, it still hit us, but now it's hitting. Now it's just a bunch of smaller asteroids. So Earth would survive if we did that. Like there would be collateral
Yeah,
damage,
of
but
course.
we're alive. The planet's not,
I feel like there's always collateral
but
damage.
the planet is alive. Can we sense a rock coming at us? Is that a thing we can do?
What do you mean by sense? Like we can
Like,
detect
can
it.
we
NASA
like
can
predict
detect
like in like two
asteroids.
months there's gonna be a huge rock about to hit us, so let's get ready for this? Or is it
Yeah,
like,
of
oh, we
course.
got like
There's
3 hours before it hits us?
yeah, we totally can. Actually, um there is funny enough, I saw this article, and of course like they make the title super clickbaity and try to fear monger and everything. I think it was a CNN article.
Destruction of
It
the
said
world.
that it was very close to one of those 2012-esque type of articles, like just trying to make people feel super, like Mayan calendar is ending, so we're all screwed,
What did
whatever,
they
yada
base
yada.
that off of?
No,
Like, why did the
it
Mayans
was
think this was the year?
but wait, yo,
Okay.
shut up. um I was uh I was reading this article, and it was talking about an asteroid that is going to pass very close to Earth right around the election.
This election? Nice.
Yeah. But it's actually, well, okay, relatively close to Earth, but in reality, this asteroid has been passing by for a very long time and has never once hit us. So it would have to be incredibly unlucky for us.
Do asteroids follow an orbit, or do they just go straight?
Well, it depends. I mean, I would put my money on that they follow orbits usually, unless something knocks them out of their orbit.
Hmm.
You know what is really interesting, since we're on this topic of just survival in general? I wonder. I'm gonna have to take a step back in time to talk about this, but there were all these big extinction events that occurred
Right.
over time. So there was
The big meteor.
yeah, that big meteor that flattened the dinosaurs. There were other extinction events that occurred on average 60 million years apart, always.
When was the last one?
Um, the last one was the
But like,
dinosaurs. That
How
was the
long ago was
biggest major
that?
extinction.
59 million.
About
Oh,
60
okay.
million years
Sweet, dude.
ago. So
But each one was different,
yeah,
wasn't it?
we're a little overdue for some extinctioning. What?
Would we? What? How did? So the meteor just hit the Earth, and what happened? Just the shock wave killed everything.
I don't think it was the shock wave necessarily, but it was the
But like,
aftermath. Because when something like that happens, it essentially turns the sky
okay.
black. All the ash and stuff.
So they all got secondhand
Um,
smoke and died
and
of lung cancer.
I mean, yeah, you can't breathe. You can't breathe. The sky is blocking the sun out
well, we
completely
don't need that anymore.
because there's so much ash. What do you mean we don't need the sun
We
anymore?
don't.
Alex.
I mean, we can live like a year without the sun. It would suck,
Alex.
but we could live.
No,
Why
we
not?
can't, bro. How are we gonna grow crops, genius?
Oh,
How are we gonna make? How are we gonna make food to eat and live and survive?
that is a decent point.
Yeah,
Don't they
half
have that
decent.
synthetic light that emulates the sun?
Yeah, if you want to grow like marijuana or something.
I'm sure real plants can use that too.
I don't know. I don't know.
Alright.
I have no experience growing plants with fake light.
Is
But
there
all I'm saying is that we would not be able to survive the sun being out for more than a few days.
What
Dude,
would-
if the sun went out for a few days, we'd be descending into chaos within like 10 days.
not necessarily we? I'm sure there are some places that don't have electricity that would be losing their minds. But
Yeah,
but they have fire
even,
too,
even
I'm
us.
sure. So they can survive. Relative.
Say it again. Say it again.
But I'm sure even those places have fire. I'm sure every civilization, even the most like tribal, have fire.
No, I know, but I'm saying that we've become so dependent on things that rely on the sun in some way, shape, or form that, like you said before, we have a certain survival instinct, but it's very different than what it used to be.
Can't we just get like a big fan and just blow the ash away?
How about you show me your blueprints for this big fan?
I mean, what would you do if the sky was covered in ash? You know, one way would just be to like suck it out. Or
There is literally nothing I can do, man. You have to wait for it to just go away, slowly but surely.
Can-
Here's another big threat to our. So, well, I can tell you what these. Apparently, a lot of people at NASA in general, they philosophize slash hypothesize that the reason for these extinction events is a really
They had it coming.
very what do you mean? I mean, yeah, technically they did, but the reason is because there was a very big body outside of our solar system in the Kuiper Belt, I believe.
that attracted it.
Apparently, so yeah, the theory is that our star used to be part of a binary star system,
So we had a second sun.
and yes, and that is in some type of orbit far outside of our solar system, but close enough to where it will pass by every quote unquote 60 million years, and the gravity from that little pass by, that little drive by the star,
brings a bunch of rocks into our path.
it knocks everything out of its orbit momentarily and throws stuff in our direction, and we just managed to get hit unluckily. So that's a theory right
So
now, but it hasn't
basically,
been proven.
If I see two suns in the sky, it's the end. It's the end.
I don't think you're gonna see another sun necessarily, because it also may just be a planet. There's a body. I forget if it's another star or if it's a planet, very large planet. But yeah, it is big enough to the point that it can absolutely disrupt all life in our solar system. Another way that we can have all our life end is, yeah, here's another one actually, but is it Yellowstone? Where's the which park has the supervolcano? I think it's Yellowstone, no?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Yellowstone.
In America?
Yeah.
America has a volcano?
Yeah, but it's underground. Well, dude, America has plenty of volcanoes.
Yeah, in Hawaii, but like,
Yeah, there's Mount St. Helens also.
where's that?
That erupted.
Where is that?
Washington.
Oh,
Bro, read up on your
it's
your
Washington,
things that can
Pete.
end.
It's Washington. That's where Seattle is.
Chaz is in Washington.
It's true. Seattle's there,
No
so you
longer.
know.
No, so yeah, that volcano is unfortunately due to erupt sometime. All right, like when I say soon, it's due to erupt sometime soon,
In the
but
next
soon
100
is
years.
relative. I wouldn't say next 100, but it's soon compared to the last time it erupted. It's been more volatile the last few years than it has been since its last eruption.
What causes eruption? Is it just
Buildup of magma. my
Why don't they
dude.
just like put some water into it? That'll cool it down.
I love these super simplistic ways to just solve all our existential problems.
I mean,
Get a big fan, knock the ash away. Throw a glass of water inside a
I
volcano.
didn't say a
You'll
glass, Pete.
cool
I
it all
said
down.
some water.
I mean, look, if we had a mechanism to just take water from the ocean and throw it into a volcano, that wouldn't be terrible.
It's called a hose, Pete. It's already been invented.
Yeah, okay. How about you try that? And let me know how it
I
goes.
mean, just give me a big enough hose and we'll do it.
There's other ways. I mean, the biggest other way is
Get
what
a
we're
giant
currently
antacid
undergoing.
pill and put it in the volcano.
Acid pill?
Antacid, you
Oh,
know,
antacid.
like when you have
Antacid pill.
when you have trouble in your stomach, you take one of those pills. Just put it
You're
in the
such
volcano.
a clown. You're such a clown. This is coming from the guy that literally thought about what you would do if you were stuck on an island with someone you hate. So keep in mind that, people.
I mean,
How
yeah,
big is this antacid pill?
pretty big. At least 3 times the size of a regular one. At least.
The other big way that we can all die is what we're undergoing right now.
What?
Disease.
Yeah, but that never worked before.
That never worked before, bro. Of course it worked. Well,
It didn't extinct
what do you
us.
define? What do you define? It didn't extinct. It didn't
Make us
throw out.
extinct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you characterize working as destroying all of humanity.
Yeah, well, we're talking about mass extinction, so, you know, if a disease came around and it only killed, like, 90% of the population, it didn't do its job right.
This is sick and twisted.
It's true. The Black Plague killed millions of people, but it didn't eradicate humanity.
I mean, obviously, when you put it that way, then yeah. But I don't think the job of a disease is to kill people. It's
No,
just
the job of the
there to survive.
yeah, which means infecting everyone.
Yeah. That's it, though.
No, it's
It's
survival.
not
of the
going out
fittest.
and looking at a person and saying, "Oh, I don't like what this person's hairstyle, so I'm just gonna infect them and bye bye."
I mean, you don't know that. You never talked to a virus before, Pete.
Okay, man. Relax.
What if it what if it was? What if bacteria had like sentient, like quiet sentient basic thought, and that was the reason for infecting people? Is like that guy looks stupid. Let's go after him. That would be
Well,
an
I mean-
existential crisis right there. Is if all of the single cell organisms just had that one dimensional thought process. It's like I don't like the way this looks. Let's go there.
Look. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not saying that
Chances
you're
are-
right.
Yeah, no, I know.
Chances are that these single-celled organisms can't really decide because
They don't have a brain.
we're a bit complicated. Human beings are a bit complicated, and we still don't even understand how we're able to think. So you think we could figure out how something way more
Smaller.
undeveloped
I had
than
a
us would be able to think?
what makes our brain developed?
Do I look like a neuroscientist to
No,
you?
no, but like, cause it's not size. Because like blue whales are like have a brain that's a trillion times bigger than ours, but you wouldn't really call them smarter than us.
Blue whales are super, super intelligent.
No,
man.
but they're not smarter than us. I don't think.
Well, you have to be more specific when you say smart because it's so vague.
Well,
You know?
what I guess yeah. I guess it's hard when you're an aquatic animal. You can't really create fire in the water.
Because you don't need it.
I mean, what if it gets chilly?
They don't, dude.
What if it gets chilly down there, Pete?
Look, the way that I see it is we will only make something when we need it. I mean, that's basic free market economics too, but
We don't
on a
need to go
primal-
to space, but they're doing it
No,
anyway.
yeah, we do.
Why?
We totally do.
Why?
Well, because we're literally a virus to our planet, man. The only way we're going to be able to survive as a species is if we venture outwards.
So we're now becoming the virus of the galaxy. We're
Yeah,
spreading.
I honestly feel as though human beings are a virus to planet Earth.
I don't
And
think
it's
so.
so, well, can you tell me why not?
Um,
Give me a very compelling reason to, because I can tell you why I think we are. Silence.
uh,
What a virus does, Alex,
I
is
know what a
it
virus does,
inhabits its
Pete.
host and milks it for
Doesn't
all of its
it
resources, and
doesn't
when that host
milk
is done,
it,
it moves
Pete.
on to the next.
It doesn't milk it. It just
Okay, it
spreads
doesn't milk it.
itself.
Yes, it spreads out, it increases in numbers, and eventually, when that host is no longer habitable or no longer useful, the resources are gone, and everything that allowed that virus to exist um, kind of just disappears. It will move on to another host.
I
Tell me right now, humanity is not a virus.
Humanity has the ability to stop being a virus.
I don't think we do. I think it's in our nature.
We can go against nature.
No. When that happens, then we kill ourselves.
No, because the thing is, if we take care of the planet, like we plant trees, we don't pollute, we don't litter. If we do that, then that makes us not a virus anymore because we're stopping that would be like a virus spreading and then killing itself, which is not what we're gonna do.
Would you like me to jade your opinion on that completely?
I mean, I know that's not it's not like everyone's gonna do that, but we could.
No, I agree. And I think that we should. But here's the reality. The fact of the matter is, no matter how much people try to do that, we are unable to sustain it, first off. As in, we can't keep it going for a long time. And two, not enough people are doing it to where it'll make such a profound difference to actually preserve the quote unquote host we inhabit. So it doesn't matter. And essentially, it is actually counter towards what is in our nature to do that thing anyway. It's kind of messed up, like our nature is to literally just use Earth for everything it has. And I mean, it's kind of it's a terrible
We
thought
don't
to have, but like,
use Earth. We use
yeah,
what
we
we
do.
need.
Well, yeah, what we need is on Earth.
Yeah, but like
By transitive, you remember geometry, man, in high school? That's basically what it is.
geometry?
You know that transitive property?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need A, and B has A, so therefore, I will use. All right, well, okay, A equals B, B equals C, so therefore A equals C. That thing. You remember that?
Okay.
So it's the same. It's the same logic. Like we need the stuff that is on Earth, and Earth.
But so does everything else.
Yeah, but I don't know if necessarily everything else
In
is
that
so
in that
developed as
case,
us
in that case,
to
everything is a
actually willingly
virus.
do it like that.
Well,
Well, life in general, yeah,
life is a
probably is.
virus.
But at the same token, I don't know if necessarily all life is, because there are some ecosystems that remain beautiful without our intervention.
Well, beautiful is subjective. They're just doing what they're doing.
Yes, but okay, no, you have a point there. But I think that there's
Like animals get extinct even without our have like yes, we definitely cause some extinctions, but throughout all of life on Earth, like there used to be something called a megalodon, which is a giant shark,
yeah, I remember.
and it went extinct, but it didn't go extinct because of us. It went extinct because of the environment changing and it failing to adapt. And sharks existed and they adapted. The same
Yeah.
thing probably will happen to every other species, is that the life assuming humanity never existed, all life would have to deal with a new circumstance, and they'd either have to get good or die. we're just exacerbating that. We're rushing them, but you know that doesn't necessarily like it's not good, but it's also not like unnatural. I guess is the word I'm looking for.
I get it, but your point is that everything else doesn't necessarily, or your point is that everything else is just as much harmful to
Not just
its
as much.
host,
It's just that
host
they
being the
are
planet.
not just as much. I would agree that we are the most productive, to put it nicely, but all animals, to some degree, kind of take and destroy, but also give back.
Right, but so we don't necessarily give back. All we do is just take. It's in our nature,
It's in everything's
right?
nature.
No, because you see other animals, they are um um they're not necessarily like okay, for instance, one big thing is that when human beings pass, like they die, um a lot of people one thing Neil deGrasse Tyson he told like when he passes along, he wants to be buried in the earth so that when all the flora and fauna, quote unquote, that he fed on would kind of circle around and feed on him so that he can just kind of give back, right? But all the stuff that he did in his life to take from the planet does not amount in magnitude to what he's giving back. So yes, it's a very noble thing to do, and I agree with it, and I would actually do the same thing. But it doesn't. It's like taking 10x something and only giving 1x back. In the end, there's still that 9x differential that we have to account for. And I think that other species don't have such a big magnitude in difference, you know?
I mean, I hope maybe in the future technology will advance so we can slow down the harm.
Or we're just going to have to move on to another place in the solar system, like I said.
Hmm.
Well, it's a sad truth, but I mean, when you think about it, it is the only way that we'll survive.
We'll see. Everyone will be partying on Mars, but I'll stay here on Earth. I'll keep the torch alive.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you'll still be alive by the time there are parties on Mars.
Shut up, Pete. I will live forever.
Okay, so really, if you're gonna want to end up on Mars, though, um,
But like,
I mean,
who cares about Mars? Mars is just a bunch of iron dust on the surface.
yeah, Mars is a desert. Mars is like, or the Sahara, or like middle of Siberia. Those are garden paradise. Those are tropical paradises compared to
Is
Mars.
it hot on Mars? It's probably not that hot. It's just desert.
Mm, no, it's cold.
So yeah, it's just a
It's
cold
very
desert.
cold. Yeah, man, it's a barren, rocky, lifeless, completely
Can we survive without like
huge desert.
water, like bodies of water?
Can we survive? What do you mean?
Like, because the Earth has fresh water and salt water and other forms of life with plants and animals. Mars doesn't have any of that, so what's the plan once you get there? Like, yeah, you can start planting trees, but like, what are you gonna do about the water and animal situation? What are you
Well, look,
gonna bring?
we talked about all the physiological stuff with survival, but I can tell you right now there are two words that can answer this for us, and I
Elon
think you should
Musk?
end on them.
Elon
Hmm?
Musk?
No. I hate you so much.
No, we can finish on those last two words later, but like I'm genuinely curious, like how do they plan to deal with the whole water situation?
My answer is the same.
Shut up, Pete. I want a real answer. Cuz like are they going to bring water from Earth there? Or are they going to is it possible to create water? Like can we like chemically create it ourselves?
Yeah.
Is that the plan? They're just going to mass produce water on Mars and just throw it outside?
Well, I don't know if they're gonna create lakes. They could. I mean, that is essentially partial. That is partial to terraforming, right? to terraform a planet, you need to make it as livable to Earth as possible,
Is
or
the
as livable compared to Earth as possible.
is the moon closer to Mars?
The moon is not closer to Mars.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, why don't we just start with the moon first?
Well, because the moon has too little gravity, too thin of an atmosphere. It's just too small.
Hmm. Okay.
It's not big enough, man.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I hate to
you
dash your
say
hopes
that, but
of
like
surviving on the
it's
moon.
not like we're going to be putting 1 billion people on Mars right away. We're gonna like have like 10 people at a time in the beginning.
I guess it just depends on the size of the spaceship we take down there, or out there.
Is it? Have you ever seen those sci-fi There's a sci-fi movie. I forget if it's like The Passenger or something, where basically there's a ship, and they're just living on the ship. Do you think humanity could do that instead of living on a
I
planet?
know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of this movie too. Oh,
The plot of the
wait,
movie is not important, but it was just the idea that there's a ship of people living on the ship. So, and there's plants and there's stuff on the ship. So, is it possible to just live on a spaceship forever instead of a planet? That would solve the whole virus problem with planets.
I mean, that idea is basically going onto the ship. Like they put you on the ship, and then they put you in cryo sleep until you reach the destination.
Well,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah, no,
supposed to
I'm
reach.
I'm ignoring that part, the part where they're traveling and asleep while being asleep. I'm more focused on the part where you're alive and you're just living, but you're living on a ship instead of like if we made a like I know it's sci-fi, right? But could we manufacture like our own planet, like a Death Star in Star Wars or something that big, but like for us exclusively?
Dude.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Just have a gigantic laser in the middle of space
Well,
to
not
destroy planets.
not that part, P. Just the idea of we have our own Earth that we made.
I don't think so.
You don't think that's a good
Not
idea?
not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. But like, is it like an idea? Is that like on the table, or is it like no, that's not possible? We don't
You'd
know.
have to convince me why we need something like that.
Well, in a couple trillion years, the sun's going to explode. So we probably want to like maybe leave this place and go somewhere else when that.
Well, I will say that two things: our sun will not explode, and whatever end game our sun has in store, it's gonna happen in 1 billion years, not 1 trillion. So
Okay, but it's still gonna
it's
happen.
far sooner. What?
It's still gonna happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. We won't need a Death Star to survive something like that, though. We'll be long gone from here
You think?
by the time that
Oh,
happens.
like away from Earth?
We'll either be extinct as a species, or yeah, we'll be somewhere else in space.
I don't think.
Which one scares you more?
We're either extinction or lost in space.
Yeah, which one scares you more?
Extinction.
Well, what? Okay, but I mean, what happens if, let's say, our species is extinct completely, right? Versus we have a scenario like that movie where the people are just thrown onto a spaceship in cryosleep and heading towards a destination they have no idea
I
about.
mean, you're basically asking me, would you rather A, die, or B, have a chance of living? And I'll always say B.
Okay, fair enough. Very
You
simple.
know. But I don't.
Survival. But hey, dude, that goes back to my point on surviving on an island.
It's true.
Like I would rather take the chance at having a chance to
Then
live
just
in my own
stuck.
hands rather than just waiting
That's
around.
true. And whether
You just played into my chess
Yeah.
game, bro. I just played you for an hour.
even though this was my conversation, but okay. So yeah,
Checkmate,
I
kid.
guess I guess the moral of this whole conversation is whether you're stranded on an island, in a room, or lost in space, you only really need two things in life, and that is to always
Staying and positive.
true. Stay positive, everyone.
See you later, people.
Stay positive.